Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
I just want to talk briefly about Descent 3 and my initial thoughts on it. I've played through 5 or 6 scenarios so far into the game, and I have to admit I'm having a good time. Now, Descent 3, you're immediately going to think, hey, this is a descendant of Descent 1 and 2. Well, sort of. Descent has a long history, where the first one was kind of long. It was a one versus all type of campaign. Then the second one, they kind of streamlined it and did what they could with at the time of what was popular, but it felt more like a race. And there were a lot of people who held on to the first one. And the first one and the second one were very distinct, although I suspect over time most people moved to the second edition. Lo and behold, we have the third edition now, which is going to integrate an app into the game. You must utilize the app to play this game. It's an immediate turn off for some players, and if you're one of those people that just hate apps in your board games, move on. You are not going to like this game. But that makes Descent have a rather interesting path to where it's at now. It's gone from your traditional, like, almost RPG dungeon crawler, one versus all, to something a little bit more cooperative, and they did integrate an app into the second, which was optional, to the fact that it's required in the third one, and it makes it feel like it comes through the brotherhood of Mansions of Madness that kind of saw the same path, and then Journeys into Middle-earth that you saw pretty much as Mansions of Madness with the Lord of the Rings on it. And then we end up here at Descent 3rd Edition. Now, Mansions is a game I really liked. I liked first and second edition of Descent okay. It was one versus all doesn't really play to me, but the second one had the app and I was able to integrate that in. So I'm not afraid of the app use as some people are. I actually like it in these games, and I think it works really, really well. But this gives me the path of Mansions of Madness, and then you had Jersey Middle Earth, and this adds a lot more in. This is a very cool, like the combat system's all taken care of inside. I really, really like that. I can roll my dice, put the inputs in. If they become feebled or some kind of status on them, it's all put into the app. I like that it tracks all of that for me. I don't have to have counters everywhere. And the game is fairly simple. Just like Mansions of Madness was, I can move, I can interact, which is done through the app. I can, there's a little bit of rules there, like if I'm impeded and things like that, but they're not too complicated. Line of sight is not complicated. Matter of fact, the line of sight can be taken care of inside of the app. Wow! You can click on a spot inside the app, and it can show you how far everything is away from you, and if you have line of sight there. Excellent! Excellent use of the app. No more guessing, no more arguing. It's right there in yellow, red, and green. That's the colors that are utilized. Very cool additions into this universe that I see. I found that when I was expanding out and putting this together, yeah, I was a little questionable about all this 3D terrain I had to put together. I was like, I don't know about this. But the interaction with it, and you have choices. So if there's a tree, you can climb it, maybe pluck a piece of fruit off of it. They have options, storytelling options that are there for you, and I really like that. There are characters for you to explore and find as you go through. And there's a little bit of a storytelling, and they'll ask you at certain points, do you want to answer the question this way or that way, which I'm told is going to determine what happens and what choices you have available to you in the future. I can't verify that or deny it, but I believe them when they say it. And that's really cool. It has these branching paths that are going off. The game itself is pretty simple. It streamlines everything, but in a very good package. The miniatures are very nice looking. I think the quality of what you're having here, I wish a little bit better storage inside the box, but it's not bad for what you get. The 3D terrain is I would have liked plastic terrain, but I think that it works well. The rules were simple for me. Of course, I played games like this. I played 1 and mainly Descent 2. I played through Mansion. I played through Journeys. So this isn't a huge leap for me. If you're coming in, the app takes care of so much of that bookkeeping, and I think it really is a plus to this game. Like I said, if you don't like Apple integration, you're probably not watching this anyway. This game wasn't on the table for you, but I really, really, really like what's included in this one. I feel like I'm going on an adventure. I don't like the super duper rules heavy ones, and I don't want to be super duper light. And this really hits a nice medium for me. This is what I wanted to kind of jump into because I didn't feel like I get in on the first one. Like it was almost dead by the time I got into it. The second one, I kind of got into it late because that app integration really helped me with that game, being able to play solo and more cooperatively based. So this has that from the beginning, which means I can jump into it. I don't have to look for players. I don't have to find people to jump in with me. and start kind of a campaign thing, I can do it all from my house, either solo or with my family, and that cooperative nature really plays to me. For the most part, I pretty much canceled out all 1v all games. I have no interest in them. I just can't get a group together, especially if they're campaign. It's not going to work out. But something like this that allows me to play cooperatively through the app is fantastic. The game took me on some twists and some turns. I liked where I was going with it. You know, I'm not going to nitpick it to death. Are there minor things I didn't like about it? Maybe. But I do like how the weapons are double-sided, and you have to flip over to the other side, maybe a side you don't like as much, just to get rid of all that fatigue that's on there. I really, really like the fatigue symbol. It's elegant, it's streamlined, it's nice, it's very easy to understand and to utilize. And then when you flip it over, maybe you're getting a better side. Maybe it's the side you like because you're going back to where you started at, maybe not. And I find all that interesting. So I'm very interested in seeing new campaigns and to be able to jump through this and play through it. I'm definitely going to play through it again with different combinations of characters. And we are having a blast with this one. Now, the price tag on this is high. I can't get to the end of this without talking about the price tag. The price tag is fairly high. The app integration, I feel like, computerizes it. It makes it very cool. But people are going to stumble a little bit. Now, if you like your dungeon crawls to be very, very rules heavy, something like Myth, then this probably is going to be a little bit too simple for you. If you like Mansions of Madness and you want it a little bit more, or you like Descent 2 and you want more of the app integration, which I am a huge fan of, this is really going to play into your ballpark. I'm super excited about more content with this. Now, I'm not a dungeon crawler guy. I'm really a Euro guy, heavy Euro player, but I do like dungeon crawlers. And I like the CMON games where you're going through this. And this one is really, really good. I didn't have high expectations. I was somewhere in the middle. Like, Descent is a name in this board game industry, and I feel like that it holds some weight. And this lives up to it. It lives up to it a lot. I'm having a great time with it. If it has a lot of flaws, I haven't seen them yet. Maybe somebody be more nitpicky than me. The game is very intuitive. I'm going through. You know what? End of the day, I'm having a good time with it. And it's one I can highly, highly recommend for you. Descent 3 is a winner. The app does a lot of the bookkeeping, which I'm very happy about. The stories have been engaging. I'm still waiting on the day when you don't just have the prologue and the epilogue being voices. I want everything in there, voices and music and all that stuff going. I heard ISS Vanguard is like that, so maybe I'll finally get that. So I wish a little bit more had been put into the app, but it's really hard to complain with the little baby steps that we keep having with these app-integrated games. I am happy with this package. I feel like I got my 170's worth. I'm happy awaiting the next expansion. Keeper, one I really do recommend for you to check out. If you've been dragging your feet on this at all, I can tell you this is a safe purchase. Here is a game of Descent Legends of the Dark will look like set up. You have some tiles, some underlays, you got some 3D terrain, some dice laying around. You're going to have some space over here where you're going to see as your players and your cards, you'll be building up 3D terrain as you go. And over here, you'll have all of your extras kind of set up and ready to go. And it's going to take up a lot of table space as you're going through for all of the adventures that you'll be going on. Now, for the most part, you're going to be playing as these little characters here in miniature format. Each of your spots will have character that they will be, and as you can see here, there's a lot of information. You have your movement, you have your health, which attack die you're going to use, which defensive die you're going to use, if you have any pluses or minuses to tests that you might have. Down here, you're going to see the number of fatigue that you can hold on your card. A little power here, what happens if you roll a lightning bolt on the die. For the most part, you're going to have a few actions that you can do. Usually you can move. Once again, you'll be looking at the speed. In this case, it's 3. So if you were this guy, then you could just move 3 spaces on the board. 1, 2, 3, for example. And you can move around. Each space is 1. Now, if you're next to a bad guy, then you're what's called impeded, and you will only be able to move 1 space. So if you wanted to move in a space where you have somebody, it's great. No matter what your speed is, you can only move 1. For the most part, what you're going to be doing is interacting with things. If you see something in your 3D environment, you can go to the app and you can interact with it, and it might have a test. If you look down here, it will show you test numbers that you might have. That'll be plus or minuses to any successes that you may have. So if it was a will, he might have +2 successes, but if it was a might, he might have -1. Now, When you're attacking, you're going to see a die here for each of your guys. In this case, he's going to roll a blue die when he's attacking and an orange die when he is defending. It's very simple. You'll take your blue die and you'll roll it. In this case, I have rolled 1 success and 1 maybe success. The plus sign means I can put a fatigue on any of my items, and a fatigue will look like this. If I put a fatigue on it, I can turn that into a success. Now you might see lightning bolts, like in this case, that's fine. It's a lightning bolt, then you can do one of your lightning bolt effects. In this case, it says, add a success and the hero may discard 1 condition. Now you might also have weapons that will be on here, and they may give you lightning bolts. In this case, during your attack, add 2 successes and enfeeble the enemy. These are things you'll have. You'll see here for each damage this weapon does, the enemy's going to take 3 damage, minus their defenses, of course, or any pluses you might have to that. And this card can hold up to 2 fatigue. So for the majority of the game, you're going to be moving around the board, fighting with the bad guys, interacting, and unfolding this little universe and board, as you see through here, that will be opening up as you play.